President's News for Wednesday the 17th of July. Tonight we've got some club news, we've got some results to share with you all, there's parkrun facts and podiums, there's quite a lot of coming up this weekend, and of course we've got the bonus ball and then any other news. So it's quite a lot tonight, so I'm just going to start straight away. In club news, the first piece of news is that last Friday at the Morton Games in Dublin, Sam Reardon set a new club under 23 and senior men's record over 400 metres in a time of 45.99. So it's great to see Sam back post-injury, running faster than ever. So well done to Sam. A little bit of sort of side news. The big half takes place on Sunday the 1st of September, so it's a little bit down the line. But Keith Duffy Penny's on the lookout for marshals and helpers for that, and he needs to get names in as soon as possible. So if anybody is free, Sunday the 1st of September, he's looking for approximately 10 people. You'd be based at the National Maritime Museum in Greenwich between 8:30 and 2:30. You'd get a t-shirt, a jacket and a packed lunch, no less. I'll put a contact for Keith on the link to the news, but if you have his contact, then please get in touch. So he's looking for 10 people to help share that marshalling role. And then the final piece of news, I'm delighted to say that Mark Pursa has agreed to take on the role of Chair of Active Athletics for the club. Mark succeeds Paul Byfield, who's had this role for many years now and made an enormous contribution to the club. Paul will be sorely missed, but we are very fortunate to have Mark take this role on, and who will no doubt bring his own special expertise and enthusiasm to this position. So big thanks to Mark for taking that on. Okay, results roundup. We've got 4 sets of results to share with you all. First of all, the English schools up in Birmingham last weekend. Last Friday was the 5th round of the Kent Masters over at Tunbridge. Sunday was round 3 of the Southern League, and tonight was, of course, round 4 of the Paris Handicap. So just before I get into them, I do love it when it's been one of these big, busy weekends when we've had our youngsters competing all the way up through to our seniors and then our super seniors, if you like. I think it shows real health in the club, and it's fantastic that we're so busy. Anyway, moving to English schools. So we had 33 of our young athletes had qualified for either Kent, Surrey or London to take part in this most prestigious of events. They were certainly going up against the very best in the country. We had 19 athletes on the track and 14 in the field. 19 of our athletes made it into finals, and we had 8 medalists at the end. 2 bronzes, 4 silvers and 2 golds. So our finalists and those who became top 10 in the country were finishing 9th. We had Jed Starvis at 1500 metres and George Henderson in hammer. Finishing 8th, we had Erin Simpson in discus and Madeline Dodd in pole vault. Finishing 7th, Ella Brooker in pole vault and Jackie Nzekwe in hammer. Finishing 5th, Troy Ogadembe in 200 metres, Oliver Kayolana in discus and Rory Whitcomb in hammer. Finishing 4th, agonisingly 4th, Ryan Murtada in the 110 metre hurdles and Joe Skeins in 1500 metres. Joe literally flung himself across the line in an attempt to catch 3rd, but was by 100th of a second missed the bronze medal. Finishing 3rd and taking bronze medals, Elsa Pawson in pole vault and Abraham Sharif in long jump. Finishing 2nd and taking silver medals, Piers Spencer Sims over 200 metres, Amelia Desi in shot, and Oscar Whitcomb in pole vault. And then finishing 1st and English Schools Champions 2024, Josh Dako in long jump and Chichi Ukpe in triple jump. So massive congratulations to all of those athletes. Both Josh and Chichi are selected for England in the SIAB International on Saturday. I'm not sure where it is this year actually, but that's well done to them. So congratulations to all of our young athletes. Okay, moving swiftly on to our older athletes. Friday night was the 5th round of the Kent Masters League at Tunbridge. On the night we had 400 metres, 3 kilometres and 4x400 relay, so quite a brutal night actually, especially if you're doing multiple events. There was also pole vault, hammer and triple jump in the field. So on the night the men's team finished 3rd with 48 points, just 1 point behind Ashford. but they were equal on points with Cambridge Harriers, who also had 48 points, but they were fourth on the night. Overall, the men are sitting third with Cambridge Harriers just 3 points behind, so it's incredibly close going into the final round this Friday. A few highlights on the night. We saw Luca Ercolani winning the men 50 3-kilometre race. This week electing not to leave it to a sprint finish. Instead, he just ran away from the field in a very dominant fashion. It was third place finish for Ken Daniel in the men's 63 kilometres. Ken was slightly shocked to find himself in a scoring race, but drew a line at the triple jump, so kind of understandably there. We had a couple of other podium results in the men's 35 3 kilometres. We had double thirds from David Adams and Ben Hackey. We had a third from Tim Ayers in the hammer and who equalled his PB in pole vault. And we had another third from Ian Furla in the men 50s 400 metres. So well done to all the men's team there, who were all covering different events that they wouldn't normally do. And also big thanks to Steve Howe for looking after the men's team so well. On the ladies' side, it was another strong night for the ladies, who also finished third. We scored 51 points in the night, just 6 points behind Medway. So very close overall. We're sitting second overall behind Tunbridge, who have a big lead, but we are just 3 points ahead of Medway, so it will be all to play for this Friday in the final round. A few highlights on the ladies' side. We had a first and a second in the W35 3,000 metres from Andrea Clement making her Kent Masters debut, and Aurelia Osborne. We had a first and a third in the W50s 400 metres and 3 kilometres. But I must give a special shout out to Anne Celia, who stepped in to take second in the W60s triple jump. I think being able to do triple jump in your 60s is remarkable, let alone jumping very far distances. But an even bigger shout out to Jackie Montgomery, who not only finished second in the W60 3-kilometre event, she was third in the W50s triple jump. She also did high jump for the W50s and hammer for the W35s. So a huge contribution from Jackie, who also topped off the night with a leg in the 4x400 relay, so it really was huge. So well done, Jackie. Big thanks to Maz, as ever, who looks after us all, and for getting everyone to turn out. And it certainly set up a very exciting final round this Friday, where we have 800s, 100s, 4x200 metre relays, along with some discus, long jump and high jump. Right, moving on to Sunday. So we had the Southern Athletics League over at Sutcliffe Park on Sunday, and that was round 3 of the Southern League. We had a strong turnout from the club, and we finished in a very strong third on the day. Now overall we are sitting quite low in that league, but the final round on the 10th of August is a home match for us here at Norman Park. So we're looking to secure another strong performance from the team and hopefully make sure that we stay up in Division 1 for next season. So there were many strong highlight performances. On the men's side, we had top 3 finishes in all the sprint events, from Dwayne Bovell, Daniel Olatunji, Sam Moa, Joseph Merry and Bailey Marks Balone. And we had our younger under 17 and under 20 athletes representing us in the middle distance events and put in strong runs. Gerard McCreary, Connor Ray, Mark Constable and Lucas Almquist. We had double thirds from Roger Platt and Alan Hardy in pole vault, plus double thirds from Bryden Duncan in both shot and discus. Chinedu Nduku backed up his 400 metre hurdles with a first B string in long jump, and it was a third A string from Ben Platt in javelin. So we had a great finish to the afternoon with a first place in both the men's 4x1 and 4x400 relays. So great afternoon for the boys. On the ladies' side, it was also a super strong showing from their sprinters. Chanel Cole and Louisa Valens both took top 3 finishes in the 100 metres and 200 metres. And it was double first for our under 17s, Leah Kiriakou and Megan Barlow, in the women's 400. It would have been double first for our 100 metre hurdlers, Joyce Nzekwe and Jessie Sargent, but Jessie wasn't allowed to run the B string because she was the only competitor. So we're putting an appeal against that because it's totally against the rules, and Jessie was there ready to run. So hopefully that will be resolved in our favour. Anyway, our 800 metres were not to be outdone, and it was double wins from Chloe Sharp and Olivia Maggie Brown, along with seconds and first from Megan Slattery and Aurelia Osborne in the 3K. Chloe was showing she was in great form with a win in the 2K steeplechase after her 800 win, plus a third B in the high jump, including a leg in the 4x4. In the field, Jessie was making up for her lack of hurdles by taking a win in the high jump, a third in long jump, second in javelin, and then a win in the hammer with 47.92. Very impressive. We had pole vault PBs for Hannah Lewis, podium finishes for Charlotte Hosp in long jump and triple jump, along with Emily Hayden de Cabornières. We had podium shot results from Cayenne Wang and Joyce Nzekwe, plus a first B for Joyce in javelin and second B for Sapphire Houston Ball in hammer. So to conclude the afternoon, it was a third in the ladies 4x100 and a very dominant win in the 4x400. So all in all, a really good afternoon, and looking forward to the home advantage at the next round in August. Big thanks to Holly Platt for looking after the team so well, and of course to all our officials who ensured we had maximum points on the day from the officials. So the final event to speak about is the Paris Handicap. So I'll pass you on to Dick.
Okie doke. Right, evening all. Right, tonight we had 8 superb runners turn out to run. Thanks to my volunteers, Dave, Bob, John, Sheila and Steve. It's a shame that we always had as many volunteers as runners, but there we go. The results were Matthew Maddox walked away with it. He improved his best time of the season by over 30 seconds. But the rest of the field were only 50 seconds apart, so great handicapping. Right, first on the night, as I said, was Matthew Maddox. Matthew, if you'd like to come and get your well-deserved prize. Second was Mika Evans in the fastest time of the night of 17:49. And third was Andy Laws, 22:36. So I won't go through all the points, I'll just do the top 6. Ian Swatton, 20 points. Scott Middlewood, 20 points. Matthew Maddox, 23. Andy Laws, 27. And the top 2, well ahead. Tim Ayres, 35. And Chris Fishlock is 51. Now, sad news. Having discussed it with the officials and a lot of the runners, this race started, Roy Paris started in 1998 and the first race was in 1999, and we've decided now it's probably run its course. So this year, unless somebody else wants to take it over, will be the last season that will be run in the Paris Handicap, because we're just not getting the support, and the club has got so many other things on with other runners elsewhere. So, unless we can be persuaded, I think it's time to say thank you very much. We've had 25 years of Rob Brown and Sheila and I running it. So, thank you very much for the support. And whoever wins it this year is going to have to keep the trophy forevermore and look after it. So, thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Dick. Thank you. Okay, right. Moving on to our parkrun facts and podiums. Last Saturday we had 45 runners taking part in 24 different locations, and our furthest from the Clubhouse Award goes to the Pyramids. Are they here? So Steve, oh they're there. So Steve and Juliet were up in Edinburgh, running at Holyrood Parkrun, taking on the hill of Holyrood. So just over 420 miles away. So well done to Steve and Juliet. So our podiums, we had 5 first place, 4 second places, and 2 third places on the weekend. At Bromley, we had Johnny Lee, first home for the club and second junior male. Steve Evenden was second home for the club. And Tranmere